The discovery that changed everything. The message from beyond. Dr. Sarah Chen stared at her computer screen in complete silence. Her hands shook as she read the data one more time. Something was very wrong with the universe, and she had just discovered what it was. Sarah worked at the Deep Space Research Center in California. Her job was to study signals from distant galaxies. Most days were boring. She would look at numbers and charts, finding nothing unusual. But today was different. The signal came from a galaxy called NGC 7742, located millions of light-years away. At first, Sarah thought her equipment was broken. The signal was too perfect, too organized to be natural. It repeated every 3.7 seconds without any variation. "This is impossible," she whispered to herself. She ran the tests again. Then again. The results never changed. The signal was real, and it was clearly artificial. Someone or something was sending a message across the universe. The translation. Sarah called her team immediately. Within hours, scientists from around the world joined the project. They worked day and night, trying to understand what the signal meant. Dr. Marcus Williams, a language expert, made the breakthrough on the third day. "It's not a language," he explained to the team. "It's mathematics. Pure, universal mathematics." The message was simple but terrifying. Stop. You are breaking the universe. Stop immediately or face elimination. The room fell silent. Sarah felt her heart pounding in her chest. Breaking the universe? What does that mean? Dr. Williams pulled up more data. There's more. The message includes coordinates. They're pointing to Earth. Specifically, they're pointing to our quantum computers. Understanding the problem. The team worked frantically to understand the warning. After days of analysis, they discovered something incredible and frightening. Every civilization in the universe followed one basic rule: they never built quantum computers that operated at certain frequencies. This rule was so important that it was apparently enforced across the entire galaxy. But humanity had never received this rule. We were alone in our corner of space, building technology without knowing we were breaking universal laws. Our quantum computers were creating small tears in the fabric of reality. These tears were tiny, invisible, and harmless to us. But they were spreading. In a few years, they would reach other star systems. In a few decades, they would damage the entire galaxy. The warning message was clear: turn off the quantum computers, or be destroyed. The Galactic Council arrives. President Elizabeth Morrison addressed the world from the White House. "My fellow humans," she began, her voice steady despite the fear in her eyes. "We are not alone in the universe. And we have a problem." She explained everything: the signal, the warning, the quantum computers. The world erupted in panic and confusion. 3 days after Sarah's discovery, they arrived. Massive ships appeared in Earth's orbit. They didn't attack or threaten. They simply waited. A single shuttle descended to the United Nations headquarters in New York. The aliens who emerged were unlike anything humans had imagined. They called themselves the Vex. Their bodies seemed to shift and change, as if they existed in multiple dimensions at once. Their leader, Ambassador Kirith, spoke through a translation device. "We are the Galactic Council. We have come to ensure you comply with universal law. Your quantum technology must be destroyed. You have 7 days." The United Nations Secretary-General, David Park, stood to respond. "Ambassador Kirith, we did not know about this law. Can you help us understand? Can you teach us how to fix the problem?" Kirith's form rippled with what might have been anger. "There is no fix. There is only compliance or destruction. Choose wisely." Humanity's response. The world faced an impossible choice. Quantum computers had become essential to human civilization. They powered our medicine, our communications, our economy, our defense systems. Shutting them down would send humanity back decades. But the alternative was extinction. Sarah Chen found herself at the center of the crisis. She was invited to a secret meeting with the world's top scientists and leaders. The question was simple: could humanity survive without quantum computers? We can survive, Sarah said firmly. But we'll lose so much. Medical research will slow down. Climate modeling will become less accurate. Our ability to explore space will be limited. General Patricia Hayes, head of Earth's Defense Forces, spoke up. What if we don't comply? Can we fight them? Ambassador Kirith had left behind information about the Galactic Council. Sarah had studied it carefully. They have technology millions of years ahead of ours. They have weapons that can destroy stars. Fighting them would be suicide. President Morrison looked around the room. Then we have no choice. We must comply. But Dr. Marcus Williams raised his hand. Wait. There might be another option. We need to understand why our quantum computers are dangerous. If we can understand the problem, maybe we can find a solution they haven't considered. The Secret Project. Officially, Earth began shutting down its quantum computers. Governments around the world announced compliance with the Galactic Council's demands. The Vex ships remained in orbit, watching and waiting. But secretly, a small team of scientists continued their work. They called it Project Phoenix. Sarah Chen led the research, working in a hidden facility beneath the Antarctic ice. The Galactic Council has existed for millions of years, Sarah explained to her team. They've solved every problem they've encountered. But they've never encountered humans before. We think differently. We see problems from angles they might have missed. The team worked in complete secrecy. They studied the quantum tiers, trying to understand exactly what was happening to reality. They discovered something remarkable. The tiers weren't just damage. They were connections. When quantum computers operated at certain frequencies, they created links between different parts of space and time. These links were unstable and dangerous, but they were also potentially useful. What if we could control the tiers? Sarah wondered aloud. What if we could turn this bug into a feature? Dr. Williams was skeptical. The Galactic Council has had millions of years to figure this out. Why would they miss something so obvious? Because, Sarah replied, they're not human. They think in terms of rules and order. We think in terms of possibilities and chaos. That's our advantage. The breakthrough. On the 5th day, with only 2 days left before the deadline, Sarah made a discovery that changed everything. The quantum tiers could be stabilized. By adjusting the frequency and adding a new type of energy field, the tiers could be transformed from dangerous wounds in reality into controlled gateways. This is incredible, Marcus whispered as they reviewed the data. This isn't just a fix. This is a revolution. We could use these gateways to travel instantly across space. We could communicate faster than light. This technology would change everything. But there was a problem. The Galactic Council had forbidden quantum technology specifically to prevent this discovery. If humans learned how to create stable quantum gateways, it would upset the balance of power in the entire galaxy. They don't want us to have this technology, Sarah realized. Not because it's dangerous. Because it would make us equal to them. The team faced a moral dilemma. They could comply with the Council's demands and remain a primitive species, forever dependent on the advanced civilizations. Or they could share their discovery and risk war with an enemy they couldn't possibly defeat. General Hayes arrived at the Antarctic facility on the 6th day. What's your recommendation, Dr. Chen? Sarah took a deep breath. We tell them the truth. We show them what we've discovered. And we ask them to reconsider their laws. If they refuse, if they insist on destroying us, then at least humanity will die knowing we were right. The message was sent that night. Sarah explained everything to Ambassador Kirith, the discovery, the stabilization technique, the potential applications. She ended with a simple statement. We are not asking for permission. We are offering partnership. Judge us by what we've created, not by your fear of change. The response came at dawn on the seventh day. The Vex ships began powering their weapons. The world held its breath, preparing for the end. Then something unexpected happened, the trial of humanity. The unexpected ally. The Vex weapons powered down. But the ships didn't leave. Instead, a new vessel appeared, larger than all the others combined. It descended slowly through Earth's atmosphere, landing in the Nevada desert. Ambassador Kirith contacted the United Nations directly. The High Council wishes to meet with Dr. Sarah Chen. She will come alone. Sarah's hands trembled as she boarded the shuttle. She had no weapons, no protection, nothing but her research data and her courage. As the shuttle lifted off, she looked down at Earth, wondering if she would ever see it again. The interior of the Vex ship was beyond anything Sarah could have imagined. The walls seemed to exist in multiple dimensions simultaneously. Gravity shifted and changed as she walked. Time itself felt different here, as if seconds stretched into minutes. She was brought to a massive chamber where 5 beings waited. These were not like Kirith. They were older, more complex, their forms barely holding a recognizable shape. "I am High Arbiter Velmuth," one of them spoke, the voice resonating in Sarah's mind rather than her ears. "You have discovered something that should have remained hidden. You have endangered not just your species, but the entire universal order." Sarah forced herself to stand tall. "With respect, High Arbiter, your order was built on suppressing knowledge. That's not order. That's control." The chamber fell silent. For a moment, Sarah thought she had gone too far. Then Velmuth did something unexpected, he laughed. 30 million years, Velmuth said. That is how long the Galactic Council has existed. In all that time, no species has ever spoken to us this way. Most beg for mercy. Some offer tribute. A few try to fight. But you? You criticize our methods. The truth about the Council. Velmuth gestured, and suddenly Sarah could see images floating in the air around her. They showed the history of the galaxy, civilizations rising and falling, wars that destroyed entire star systems, technologies that tore apart reality itself. Long ago, before the Council existed, the galaxy was in chaos, Velmuth explained. Species developed quantum technology without understanding it. They created tears in reality, just as you have. But they couldn't control it. The tears spread and merged, creating zones where the laws of physics no longer functioned. Billions died. Entire civilizations vanished. Sarah watched in horror as the images showed worlds being consumed by quantum instability. Stars collapsed into impossible shapes. Space itself seemed to scream. We established the Council to prevent this from ever happening again, Velmuth continued. We banned quantum technology above certain levels. We enforced this law absolutely. For 30 million years, it has kept the galaxy safe. But you never tried to solve the problem, Sarah said softly. You just avoided it. Velmuth's form rippled. Solving it was impossible. Thousands of species tried. All failed. Eventually, we accepted that some knowledge is too dangerous to pursue. Sarah pulled out her data tablet. May I show you something? Demonstrating the impossible. With permission granted, Sarah activated a small quantum device she had brought. It was no larger than a tennis ball, but it contained the results of Project Phoenix's research. This is a controlled quantum gateway, Sarah explained. Watch. She activated the device. A small tear appeared in the air, but unlike the chaotic, dangerous tears the Council had shown her, this one was stable. It glowed with a soft blue light, its edges perfectly defined. The key was understanding that quantum tears aren't wounds, Sarah said. They're connections. But they're unstable because they lack structure. We added a quantum field framework, think of it like a door frame around the door. It stabilizes the connection and prevents it from spreading. She demonstrated by passing her hand through the gateway. On the other side, thousands of miles away in the Antarctic facility, her team saw her hand appear and waved at it. The High Council members moved closer, their forms shifting with what Sarah interpreted as intense interest. "This is impossible," another arbiter said. "We tested every conceivable approach. All failed." "You tested every approach that fit within your understanding of physics," Sarah corrected gently. "But humanity came to quantum mechanics from a different direction. We didn't have millions of years of established knowledge constraining our thinking. We were free to try impossible things." Delmuth was silent for a long moment. "Show me the mathematics." The Great Debate. For 3 days, Sarah worked with the High Council, explaining humanity's approach to quantum stabilization. The mathematics were complex, but the underlying principle was simple: instead of fighting against quantum chaos, work with it. "Your species treats the universe as a machine," Sarah explained. "You try to maintain order through control. But humans see the universe differently. We see it as something alive, something that can be guided but never fully controlled." Not all the council members were convinced. High Arbiter Zorax, the most conservative of the 5, argued strongly against accepting Sarah's research. "This human has shown us a new technique," Zorax admitted. "But that does not change the fundamental danger. If this knowledge spreads, if species begin building quantum gateways without proper oversight, we risk another great collapse." Sarah understood his fear. "You're right to be cautious. But you can't stop knowledge forever. Eventually, some species will discover what we've discovered. Better to accept it now, on controlled terms, than to face it later unprepared." "She speaks wisdom," said High Arbiter Cowran, the youngest of the council members. "We have maintained stability through suppression. But stability is not the same as progress. Perhaps it is time for the galaxy to evolve." The debate continued for hours. Sarah watched as these ancient beings argued about the future of galactic civilization. She realized something important: the council wasn't evil. They were afraid. 30 million years ago, they had witnessed catastrophe. They had built their entire society around preventing it from happening again. But fear, Sarah understood, could be just as dangerous as recklessness. The decision. Finally, Delmuth called for a decision. "We will vote. Should humanity's quantum research be allowed to continue, or should we enforce the ancient law and demand its destruction?" The vote was close. 3 in favor of allowing the research. 2 against. "The council has decided," Delmuth announced. "Humanity will be permitted to continue its quantum research under the following conditions. First, you will share all your findings with the council. Second, you will accept council oversight to ensure safety. Third, you will help us teach other species how to stabilize quantum technology safely." Sarah felt tears streaming down her face. "We accept." "Thank you." "Do not thank us yet," Delmuth warned. "You have given the galaxy a great gift, but also a great responsibility. The knowledge you've shared will change everything. Some species will use it wisely. Others will not. The consequences will unfold for millions of years. A new beginning." Sarah returned to Earth as a hero. The world celebrated, not just because humanity had survived, but because we had proven something important. We had shown the galaxy that being young and inexperienced could be an advantage, not a weakness. The Galactic Council opened formal relations with Earth. Within months, human scientists were working alongside alien researchers from hundreds of worlds. The quantum gateway technology spread rapidly, revolutionizing transportation and communication across the galaxy. But not everyone was happy. Some species, comfortable with the old order, resented humanity's disruption. Others feared that the young, aggressive humans would upset the careful balance the council had maintained. Ambassador Kirith visited Sarah at her laboratory 6 months after the crisis ended. "You have changed the galaxy," he said. "Some call you a hero. Others call you a threat. What do you call yourself?" Sarah looked out the window at the stars. Humanity's first quantum gateway station was under construction in orbit, a joint project with the Vex and 3 other species. "I call myself a scientist," Sarah replied. "I ask questions. I look for answers. I refuse to accept that something is impossible just because it hasn't been done before. That's what makes me human. Kiritha's form rippled with what Sarah had learned to recognize as amusement. Yes. That is exactly what makes you human. And that is exactly what the galaxy needs. The price of progress. But Sarah knew the truth that she couldn't share publicly. The quantum gateway technology, while stable, had side effects that humanity was only beginning to understand. Each gateway created tiny ripples in spacetime, harmless individually, but potentially dangerous if thousands of gateways operated simultaneously. She had shared this concern with Velmuth privately. The High Arbiter had responded with unexpected honesty: every technology has risks. The question is not whether risks exist, but whether the benefits justify managing those risks. 30 million years ago, we chose safety over progress. We chose stagnation over growth. Perhaps you humans will make different choices. Perhaps you will succeed where we failed. Or perhaps you will prove that we were right all along. Sarah worked late into the night, every night, trying to understand and minimize the risks. She knew that humanity's future, and possibly the galaxy's future, depended on getting this right. Legacy. Years passed. Sarah grew older. The Quantum Gateway network expanded across the galaxy. Human explorers traveled to distant stars. Human scientists made discovery after discovery, each one building on the foundation of that first breakthrough. On her 70th birthday, Sarah gave an interview to a young journalist who asked the obvious question: do you ever regret what you started? Do you ever wish you had simply complied with the Council's demands? Sarah smiled. Every day I worry about the consequences of what we've done. But regret? Never. Humanity's greatest strength is not our intelligence or our technology. It's our refusal to accept limitations. We look at the impossible and ask, why not? That same attitude nearly got us destroyed, the journalist pointed out. Yes, Sarah agreed. But it also saved us. And more importantly, it changed the galaxy. The Galactic Council had maintained order for 30 million years, but they had also maintained stagnation. We showed them that progress is worth the risk. The journalist leaned forward. Some alien species say that humans are dangerous. That we move too fast, think too little, and take too many risks. What do you say to them? Sarah looked out at the stars, where human ships now traveled freely among the ancient civilizations of the galaxy. I say they're right. We are dangerous. We do move too fast. We do take too many risks. But that's exactly what the universe needs. Safety is comfortable, but it's not growth. Order is stable, but it's not life. Humanity brought chaos to the galaxy, but we also brought possibility. The final message. Sarah Chin died at the age of 92, surrounded by friends and family from dozens of different species. Her last words were simple: keep asking questions. Keep trying impossible things. That's what makes us human. The galaxy mourned her passing. Monuments were built in her honor across 100 worlds. But her greatest legacy wasn't the quantum gateway technology or the changes she brought to galactic civilization. Her greatest legacy was the example she set, that being young, inexperienced, and small didn't mean being powerless. That challenging authority wasn't the same as being disrespectful. That breaking rules could sometimes be the right thing to do. Humanity had met the Galactic Empire and refused to kneel. But more than that, humanity had shown the Empire something it had forgotten over 30 million years of rule: that the universe still had room for new ideas, new approaches, and new voices. The quantum silence that had protected the galaxy for eons was broken. And in its place came something better: the sound of a million species asking questions, trying impossible things, and refusing to accept that progress had to stop. That was humanity's gift to the galaxy. Not technology. Not weapons. Not dominance. Hope.